Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
Experiment is a demon.
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Another ATS News live stream. Let me know, guys, if everything's good as far as sound, and we'll get right into our second half of this review of the interview. For those who did not watch last night, we tried to pause minimally, but we also shared our thoughts from chat and then my own opinions and thoughts as well. So that's what this one will be. That's why it's titled Listen and React to the interview. For those, I got a comment pretty much saying that they were mad that I was pausing and that we were talking with chat. That's just what we have to do in this scenario because there's a lot of people who have put it out already without pausing. So you're more than welcome to do that. Watch those versions. Let me just share my screen. Again, we only have around 53 minutes left. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the picture, and it's good to see everybody. I see Johnny, Debbie, Criminality, and thank you again, Criminality, for sharing these documents, the photos, everything that we've been able to review has come from her footwork. So I just really appreciate that. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to Criminality, please do so. She's awesome. And she's also going to share the files on her page too. So like I said, there won't be pausing and all that, but you can watch everything that she's received in her Freedom of Information Act filing. So Johnny's got us settled with some tea. That means we can get started. And here we go. So things were getting heated a little bit last time when we watched this last night.
You guys showed me a picture, I think, of him or her in the car at 7:30 in the morning. My roommate left the house. She's the one who leaves the earliest. She left at 7:45. So like, what if he had waited a little longer? She would have caught him with carrying a body out of the house. How did he do that without being caught or seen?
I almost feel in a way, sorry to start off pausing right away, but that she's like fishing for information of what they know at this point. I don't know. That's just a vibe I get, like how she asks how he would have done this or that. And actually a minute before this that we seen in part 1 that we kind of went through, she kind of asked the same thing. Like, I think that he choked her upstairs. And she said, well, if this happened upstairs, how was there no trace of this occurrence or whatever? And I'm thinking, is she just placing it upstairs? I don't know. I'm open just because her one crock was found in her bedroom and everything has been very shady already up to this point. I'm leaving it on the table that maybe at one point Maddie was in her room. Either incapacitated because of drugs they gave her, or he carried her down after he did what he did. But I'm leaving the door open for that possibility because of the crock and the story about the dog and the leash and peeing on the bed. Like, I almost was thinking, is she trying to explain why there might be urine found on her bed or something like that? I don't know. We'd have to go through the 900-page documents and maybe see if something like that was mentioned on her mattress. I really don't know. But it's just all very, very sketchy.
That's what I don't understand, because, like, did you guys check and see if any of my neighbors have Ring cameras? Any? Nothing?
I don't know what data we've gotten from them, but at this point, I need to know what you think happened to her. I don't need you to ask us what we found.
Okay.
What we found has happened.
It seems like they also picked up on the idea that she's fishing for information. And yes, she had them go upstairs, but I'm saying I'm not convinced when she says she never saw her at all after the party. Like, I think that there's open for possibility that she's seen Madeline the rest of the night or early that morning. Okay, drive safe, Alex. Thanks for popping in. And also, Alex will be going through these files as well. She was able to file and get some too. So those are my sources, and they've done all their work to get them. So thank you guys so much for sharing it with me as well. They've both sent me things.
I need you to come up in your words, in your mind, what do you think happened that night into Monday, because we do not know. I don't know if her murder occurred Sunday or Monday. All we know is that when you went to bed, they went to bed together, and she's no longer here. So I need to know what you think happened to her, how he got her out of the house, where he went, how he got her into the car, what is your thought on what happened.
I think she was killed Sunday night into Monday morning. I'm thinking he carried her out of the house. I don't know how he didn't get caught by any of my roommates or no one heard. You're saying he drove all around town. I'm not sure where he could have gone.
And then him coming home and leaving, and coming home and leaving, what do you think? Knowing that he killed her.
That's suspicious as fuck.
It is suspicious as fuck, but if you're writing a book, what do you write? Let's say this is a fiction novel, right? You're now aware that he killed her, so now you can piece together a story of what happened, right? You don't know the story because you're not him, and you tell me he hasn't told you. So it's not real. So you're telling me what you think.
Yeah.
Right? We know he killed her. We know he drove out of there Monday morning. We know he discarded her backpack in the trash dumpster. We know he discarded her laptop and one shoe. Right? So all her property was discarded to look like she's gone. That way he doesn't have evidence with him. They leave. You've been told that they drove around Orange County, Osceola County, wherever it was. We've pieced that together throughout the week. All right? He's told you where, at least in his version of where he was and what he was doing, right? But then you have all these suspicious times of when he's left and come back and he's gone here and gone there. So what do you think he was doing on all these suspicious times? He's roaming 192. What do you think? Knowing what you know now we can play. You know she's dead. You know that we've given you information. What do you think, knowing what you know, he was doing on 192? He was doing here. He was doing here. He was doing in Northport. What do you think?
So him leaving early in the morning and driving around aimlessly somewhere. I feel like he stashed the body at that time. When he came back and then left again.
Again, and this has been pointed out by a lot of people, but the way she refers to Madeline, her daughter, stashed the body. And this isn't the first time. So this is a second or third time at this point that she's kind of distanced herself from even being her mother.
But see, it's daytime. Like, how could you move a body or move something in daytime and not be seen? But like, I feel like.
And that's the funny thing too. Oh, thank you, Melanie. Perfect timing while I have it paused. That's the thing too, is she says, how could you, stash this body and during the daytime and not be seen? We saw him. And we read in the documents, even at one point, he comes back through the gate with her in the car, and he has a conversation with the person who runs like their gated area. And I agree with your comment too on your super chat. I feel so sad for Maddie. He's totally failed by her own mother. 100%.
He went back to check to make sure he did a good job, or to move the body again. I don't know. But him leaving the house multiple times without his cell phone is sketchy as fuck. It's so suspicious.
Which is an intentional act. It's not accidental. So
It's so suspicious. And then she contradicts herself throughout this interview and her other interviews, saying, like, I trusted him. Nothing ever stood out as a red flag. Nothing seemed suspicious. I told him to get a lawyer because I thought that they were going after the wrong guy. And yet now that you're talking to the cops, you're trying to be like, that's suspicious. It's like, you can't have it both ways, John. You really can't.
that can play into what you think happened.
Yeah. Do you think phone being on the dresser?
It was intentional. Her cell records and her cell data from her cell phone show it is not common for her to leave her phone at home. It is common for her to go to school with her. No teenager leaves their phone at home. That's what they're attached to it.
She's left her phone home multiple
Her
times.
cell data shows that normally it goes with her. So that's intentional. You know it's intentional because he left his too.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's an accident last Friday, this Monday, was not an accident.
Yeah.
So you think that he dumped her when he was driving around. You think that when he left, he went to check her body.
Possibly.
Okay.
Why would you go back out to 182 without your cell phone?
I don't disagree. So he goes out to 192. We think he may have checked where he dropped her or dumped her. He comes home. He tells you he's just roaming around aimlessly. Right?
Yeah.
So that's twice on 192 in one day because he went to look at the house of cards bullshit or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then he went to do the roaming to look for her on this random highway that he never goes to. Okay. We go into the next day and the next day. Think of the suspicious things he's done. Tell me what you think he's doing.
Him grabbing my phone and trying to log into his emails, that seems kind of suspicious. What was he trying to see? What was he trying to do?
So trying to get into his emails, and we know that he had a second phone that his dad gave him while his main phone was confiscated, obviously. I'm wondering if his urgency to kind of need that connect has anything to do with the theory of him selling images, etc. That obviously it's a theory. Was he trying to like complete final transactions for money he knows he's going to need? Was he trying to warn people? Again, this is just speculation.
The thing is when he had my cell phone, now that I think back to it, he had something wrapped around it, so the phone was under a blanket, and he was like this. I tried looking at the screen at one point, and I could see an email. But
that was the cell phone we took from you today, or you gave us today.
Yeah. Can you guys tell me if this is true? Because I recall a family member telling me something, like my sister. Was the last thing searched on it Amber Alert?
Her cell phone has Amber Alert searches in it, but I looked through her cell phone last night. I do believe that she may have been clicking on links for Amber Alerts that came through. I don't think she was actually searching them.
Okay.
They could have just been links she clicked on.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if that was him Googling on her phone about Amber Alerts or if that was her.
That we will never know. He is not obviously cooperating.
Can you you guys explain what happened yesterday?
Before that, I need you to continue going away.
Where
He's like, you're not leading this conversation. I am. And I'm definitely not going to tell you things about our process. Yeah, the silence was awkward. She's so calm to me. Yeah, how did the sister hear about that? Right. Is Jennifer still doubting SS? Remember, she said, like, if he lied to me about this, what else has he lied to me about? Like that, him lying to you should be on the bottom of the list of things that he's done wrong to you and your daughter. And you're worried about what else he has lied to you about. Oh my gosh.
where are we at?
Suspicious utilization of your phone. Yeah.
Of the phone, him disappearing multiple times, him disappearing to Northport. What the hell was he doing? That is suspicious. I mean, now that I know that that's where he went, that is suspicious as all fuck. Why did he go to a storage unit facility? What was he grabbing? What was he trying to dispose of? Or what was he trying to hide in the that to me is suspicious.
Do you put more weight on that than 192?
192, no, because 192 would be something happened in Northport. There'd be no reason he would take.
Do you understand what I was asking?
Yeah, his whole separate crime that he's being charged with happened in Northport. The CSAM. And hello, the Net Sleuth and everybody who's joined.
With that phrase, putting weight on it? Like, do you feel like it's more suspicious what he was doing in Northport versus 192?
I don't know which one's. I don't know which one is more suspicious to me. They both. 192 seems to me like the easiest place he could have dumped her or like figured out where to put her.
Dumped her, put her. She knows that there's more to this than just them trying to find her location.
Unless she was in my trunk the whole time and he went to Northport.
The trunk of your car?
Yeah.
Didn't you drive your car at some point?
I
Did you
did.
guys sit in your car at some
I
point?
did. So that's what I'm saying. Like I would have probably smelled something, but I didn't. So I'm just trying to think. I'm like, did he stash a body in Northport? No, I don't think so. He was probably hiding something or destroying something. So I guess 192 would probably be the most important right now.
Her being in your trunk is oddly specific.
The only reason I say that is because from what you guys have told me, he went directly from the hotel to Northport. I don't think he made any stops anywhere in Kissimmee or anything first and then went to Northport.
And we know from documents and everything that has come out that he actually did have her in the trunk, Madeline, and it wasn't her car though, it was his. So when the detective says that sounds oddly descriptive or whatever he was saying, like he knows that like, well, she was in the trunk. Like, does she have knowledge to that event? Which would mean Jenn has more knowledge of things. And then like we see in the body cam footage, if you guys kind of reflect back, there's times when the cop asks her questions and all of a sudden she'll start like talking really fast and swaying. But she's like speeds up the momentum of her explanation or thoughts and stuff, which is exactly what she's doing here as he like kind of catches her a little bit about mentioning her being in a trunk.
All we know is what we can piece together through accessible cameras and data. So his movements, his driving patterns, his actions, we can only 100% say what they are if they're on camera.
Okay.
So we can say he went to Northport because the car was in Northport, where he stopped, where he went in between. That cannot be factual from us if we don't have a camera. It can just be an assumption, which is why I want your assumption, because you know him, I don't.
Yeah. If I fell asleep at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, at the hotel, what was that, Monday night? Tuesday night?
One of them.
I'm just trying to think, like, could he have had time to stop somewhere, wherever he stashed her, and then took her to Northport? I think he had time.
Has he cleaned your car since he came back from Northport? Has he brought it to a car wash? Has he detailed it, paid somebody to come out?
No.
Because you, through your, we called it a fiction novel, you pieced together what you think happened based on a suspicious activity, and you ended with, you think he put her in your trunk and brought her to Northport.
Yeah.
I know I asked you to make assumptions, but now I want to know why. Why is that how we finished this? What is in your mind leading you to believe that is the ending of the story?
Because 192 seems like a really busy strip, and I can't think of anywhere immediately, like, other than going deep into St. Cloud, like passing St. Cloud, like going into Holapa or Harmony, that I could see some stashing the body somewhere around there. But Northport has so many wooded areas, and I feel like, I don't know, he would be familiar with both areas. I just don't know him to ever drive down 182 super far down, like into St. Cloud. But I've known him to drive around all around Northport. But see, I don't want to say anything and like lead you guys down to Northport to do a search and nothing's there. I'm just
We're gonna
thinking,
go everywhere.
We're searching woods right now, where she's not.
okay. I just want to be like, I know you guys are like looking at me for the details, but I'm like, I don't want to send you on a wild goose chase.
You know him better than us. You gotta really think. Where did he take her?
I'm going blank. I have no idea.
I feel like you're becoming emotional right now. I feel like you want to tell us.
No, if I knew what to tell you, I would tell you. If I had the truth, I would tell you. I don't know anything.
Jennifer, where do you think he took her?
If I were him and I had to stash a body, but I would never do this. My mind would say to go to Lake Toho. There's a lot of woods there. There's a lot of gators.
I do agree with what gosh, now I can't remember who said it in chat. But they basically said, okay, KPM said that she's disappointed that he got the flat tire because that was maybe their initial plan, was to put her near a lake or body of water where there's gators, and he got the flat. So everything kind of spiraled. Yeah, what is wrong with her if I were him? I wonder that too, Mayla's mom. How far was that lake from where Maddie was found?
I don't want to think about that. No, I know. I just don't want to think about her getting eaten by gators. I don't know where she is.
Like I told you, it's going to come to a point where we will. Like, Volusia County Sheriff's Office just found somebody the other day that's been missing for a long time. People get found. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not quick. I'm hoping this situation is today, tomorrow, Sunday, but we will find her. What you need to think about is when you find her, is there an opportunity or a chance that we are going to prove that you did not assist us to your full capability in this investigation? And if that is true, you need to think about the consequences of that. Consequences of hindering a murder investigation or a capital sexual battery investigation could be punishable up to probably the same charges, the same time in jail. I know you know that I don't believe what you're saying, and I know you know that I think you prioritize Stephanie. But do you prioritize jail? You see what I'm saying? Like, if we come back and prove that you sat in this room and misled us,
No.
that you didn't lead us in the right direction, or that you assisted, or you acknowledged, or you knew, you need warning from jail.
If I knew anything, I swear I would tell you. I know nothing. He hasn't mentioned. We haven't discussed this. I had no suspicion of anything.
KPM, if that's the case, then her story, and remember earlier in this interview that we did in the first half last night, she talked about how it she thinks that she was drugged and strangled. Well, she said choked. And then from what we know, half of that for sure has been confirmed through information. Actually, more than half. That has been confirmed. Because remember, they found THC and stuff too.
He did not tell me any more details of where he went that day other than those shops that I had mentioned. I'm giving you my truth.
On any of the days that he came home after these suspicious outings, 192 trips, Northport trips, and everything else, did he change clothes? Did he come home and appear disheveled, sweaty, dirty?
I don't believe he showered. He didn't bring that many changes of clothes with him, so I know he's repeated his outfit over and over. It's possible he could have come home all sweaty and disheveled after the supposed changing the tire thing, but I wasn't home to see that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't see him come home dirty or sweaty or anything like that.
Did he do anything he normally doesn't do within the house around you?
No. No. He was acting very normal, sitting on the computer chair, chatting away with me, talking about not resetting his phone, updating his phone.
Did he carry tools in his car to change the tire, typically?
I think he said there was a tire iron in the car and the jack.
Did he bring it inside? Did he leave it in the car? After?
I think he left everything was in the car.
Did you ever go look at his car? To verify that he changed his tire?
I don't think I did.
Never dawned on you to go double check.
After he leaves his phone at home numerous times and leaves, you thought that was suspicious. And all these other things that you thought was suspicious, you never thought like, oh, is he even telling me the truth? It was something so obvious that anybody could go look and see because it had that donut on it.
Except by the time he would have got back from the tire, you were gone, right?
Yeah.
What you told us?
Yeah.
And then she was reported missing.
Yeah.
During that time.
Yeah.
It never dawned on you to be like, damn, did he really change his tire? Let me double check.
No. We got home really late that evening and I didn't even think of doing that.
This is part of our problem. You did so many things and you never questioned it.
I didn't suspect him.
How can we believe some of the stuff that you're telling us or believe that you don't know?
I don't know how to say. I mean, I guess I'm stupid and gullible and very trustworthy, but I didn't think he'd be the type to do anything like this. I didn't doubt.
But you knew he was vindictive. You described him as not trustworthy with his family. You described instances where you document where he was lying to his family, lying to you, lying to others.
Lying to his family, yes, but lying to me.
You discussed that
he stole money from his dad. She told his dad about it. They thought that Stefan stole Madeline's Christmas money. Stupid, yes. Gullible, no. Right. All this is very calculated. Why you didn't check if he had a flat tire. Why you didn't really tell anybody right away that he told me that he reset his phone. All this stuff that he's been doing has been suspicious. Like, I need to come to you guys and let you guys know. Like, instead, she says, I thought you guys were going after the wrong guy. And she tells Stefan's father to get him a lawyer.
he wasn't that good of a person. You had to
Again, this is redactions, these audio gaps. I know some.
this family. You're not describing him in a positive light.
I know some channels edited those parts out. I just uploaded this as soon as I received it, so I didn't edit anything on this. And I actually find even the silences interesting for looking at her body language and stuff. So I hope you don't mind. There is, pauses when they redact, unedited. And also, yeah, she said he's the biggest manipulator ever.
At all. So this trust, this caring, all this stuff makes no sense because regardless of the victimization, describe him as a good person. He's stealing from his parents, right?
But he never stole from me.
You guys have no money, but all he's doing is ordering things, right? He's buying himself things. He's not. You described him as a selfish thief. You even called it a robbery, that he robbed his parents. So you're trusting this dude who you're describing as untrustworthy.
But I thought he was.
What happened to her? Where did you that? I can't fathom that. I can't wrap my head around that.
I think I only asked him if he took her to school. When I called him and told him to come to the office, I asked him if you dropped her off at school, right? Because she never made it. And he said, yeah. And I was like, she never made it. Where did you drop her off?
You guys sat in your car Tuesday night when I was out there. I was out there at least 4 hours. Just you two in that car.
Yeah.
You can't tell me you guys did not have any conversations about this. There's no way. A reasonable person would have been questioning him. You were the last person with her.
And interesting how she says that, she never made it to school. Where did you drop her off? Where did you drop her off? In another interview, she says that this was like a regular thing when he would drop her off. She would ask to have her dropped off a little bit away from school so that nobody saw how junky his car looked. So now she's trying to act like she was questioning him, like, where did you drop her off? And that might have happened, but she just kind of makes it a little bit different in other interviews. Like it was like a regular thing. Like, wouldn't you know where he typically drops her off on those times if this was a regular thing?
What the hell happened this morning? You never did that in that car.
No. I remember being on my phone. He was on my phone for a little bit. I know I was medicated, and I was just zoning out. I wasn't thinking anything of anything.
So she zoned out for hours at a time while they were in that car. This is very much reminding me of the Watts case where Chris and his mistress had this 111-minute phone conversation and neither of them could remember what was being said during it. The night of the murders, obviously.
I never asked him. Just asking him that one time to me was, if he took her to school, that was enough answer for me. I don't know. I just wanted to think. Not think the worst, I guess. I don't know. But I just didn't think he did anything. Now I know. But then I didn't. I was still believing everything he was telling me.
Juvenile robbery suspects utilize the excuse of, I was high on bars, I took Xanax, I was blacked out. Right? Every juvenile robbery suspect you interview, I was, in your words, medicated, in their words, high, incapacitated, drunk. It's an excuse to avoid admitting what happened. When you say you're medicated, I can't think of an amount of medication that will numb you so bad to numb the fact that the investigation is occurring right in front of your face, but you're missing. So being medicated is just an excuse to avoid answering why you didn't discuss with him what happened. It minimizes your guys' interaction by saying you were not fully coherent. But there's a person I know who can sit in a car and watch a bunch of detectives and crime scene investigators and everybody else search her house, seize her house, and be so numb that somehow is not ringing bells, is not overcoming the power of this little medication. There's no way. The human body will overcome that in a big situation. You didn't take enough medication to numb you of the reality of what was occurring.
I mean,
Exactly.
There's no way. Unless you're fully incapacitated, there's no way you were so numb that everything he described to you, everything I described to you was not in the forefront of your mind. You weren't numb. Just like these robbery kids weren't blacked out. They weren't high enough to not remember the robbery. They just don't want to talk about it.
no, it wasn't clicking. It didn't click to me. Like you guys telling me like it wasn't as obvious, like this and that. I still believed the story he had told me, that when we were sitting in the car, I still fully believed everything he had told me.
You believed everything, even though he told you that he's a liar. You said he's manipulative and he's a thief. Okay. This brings up a good point too, Zoe. I was just thinking, she said, wow, how could she have custody of Maddie when she zones out all the time? I'm wondering if Madeline's father has seen this interview, because I would be livid if I was him.
I didn't doubt him. I really thought you guys were going after the wrong guy. I'm like, they're wasting time. The real suspect is out there. She's being sex trafficked. That was my biggest fear, is that she was being sex trafficked. I didn't think that she would actually be dead.
But she thought enough to get him a lawyer.
I really thought you guys were going after the wrong guy.
At that point, from the jump, we've been trying to find her. That has been and will be our biggest priority.
Him getting arrested for victimizing her was an accident. Then we discovered that she was a victim because we took his phone.
And I'm like so happy that happened, because if not, this would have continued to keep happening.
Well, it wouldn't have, because he killed her on Monday.
Talking about if she had been found.
Did you hear and see her just say, I know? Remember, up to this point, she's like, I don't want to believe that until I see it, until I know that she's actually gone. Even when they said that they'll be investigating this as a homicide, they were pretty much positive. She said over and over, like, I don't want to accept that, or I don't want to believe that, until I have actual proof. So here he says he killed her on Monday, and she says, I know. It's like, I think that you really do know. She denied it for so long and wouldn't accept it up to this point. So how factual is this? I know.
I don't know why. I've asked this before, but there's no like map you guys can show me of like with the highlighted route of where he could have taken, to see if I could recognize anything or suspect anything.
I can pull up a map on my phone of the areas you described, and we can go through it.
Sure.
Said House of Cards.
No.
House
Game rules.
House. It's on Vine Street in Kissimmee.
by Oak Street.
Matt, House Game Rules, feel free to drag the map around as you please.
That's all of it. Oh my god.
And realistically, Florida has a lot of wetlands, so anything you see that's green may not necessarily be wooded, is maybe a rule, but we're looking more for where you think based off of this route, not necessarily just like the green parts of the map.
Yeah.
Is it just me or has Jen been wearing the same clothes?
The back of the house gave rules I have access to the lake.
For days?
That is the one shop I can remember him specifically naming that he was going to that Monday. He said house game rules. Did he make it there? I don't know. See, if we ever went down 192 together, it would typically be in this direction towards 535, towards Disney. That's why I find it really strange that you guys say St. Cloud, because I've never gone into St. Cloud with him before.
And oddly enough, Jen, she was found exactly on the way, since chat was so kind to look this up, to the spot that you would suggest where you would bring her if you were him. But you would never do this. Do this. Do what? Yeah, the same clothes. Just pause it though. John Benet's mother was in the same clothes that she wore the night before at the party. Chris Watts was in the same clothes that he wore the first day on body camera, the second day. And the second day. And then when he was arrested, he was in the same clothes. I don't know. I'm just noticing a pattern here.
So you told me you have a friend in St. Cloud.
I do.
I don't know if he knows, but explain to him where she lives, who she is. Explain that relationship to him, because I don't think he's aware of it.
No.
Oh, okay. So one of my really good friends lives off of Old Canoe Creek Road, off Nolte.
Okay.
I don't know what neighborhood though. She's one of my really good friends. She's somebody I know that lives in St. Cloud. She's one of like two people I know that live in St. Cloud. She's hung out with us, as in me and Stefan before. She's come over to hang out with me, and Stefan would be hanging out there too, so we would all kind of hang out together. But yeah, she's just a friend.
And you're 100% sure he's never been to her house?
Yes.
Do they have their own friendship? Or is it just, that's your friend and the only time he ever talks to her or hangs out with her is with you?
Exactly. Just my friend. He would talk when she was around.
And you just told me about the second person in St. Cloud. Who is that?
Somebody I haven't seen in a long time. Her name is Courtney Brackman. She lives, can you pull up the map?
Mm-hmm.
But he's never been over to her house either.
Search.
She lives somewhere in this area over here. Around here. Lake Lizzie to me is familiar. I would go hiking there often.
There's a preserve there.
Yeah, a few years ago, we would go hiking all the time with my friend Courtney, the one who lives right by there.
With Stefan?
No, Stefan would never come.
Now, would you tell him you're going to Lake Lizzie Preserve?
I've mentioned it before, yeah, on the phone.
Okay. When we talked about St. Cloud and
I wonder if that place is also on the way, like with the highway that he was taking, if that would have gone to this Lake Lizzie.
You know, he had asked for your top 5 places. Why did this ever cross your mind?
Like Lizzie?
Any of these places in St. Cloud that you're familiar with?
I mentioned them the first time St. Cloud was brought up. I mentioned my 2 friends that live there. And then, I don't know if I ever mentioned Lake Lizzie.
She's not even following what he's asking. He's asking why you didn't mention these places when we asked you your top 5 places where he might go. She thinks that he's still asking her about mentioning it to Stefan. Okay, Serena, have a good night. Thanks for popping in.
Not sure.
Do you know if Lake Lizzie was special?
She did enjoy going out there.
Was she?
Notice the past tense. She did enjoy going out there. Instead of saying she loves it, she does like going out there. Present tense, she did.
Verbal about that? Like, did she make that known to you guys?
She always told me that if we were to go hiking out there to let her know, because I've gone hiking without her. But it's been a really long time since I've done a hike down Lake Lizzie with her.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's been at least 2 years. Yeah, those are the only places in St. Cloud that I would know, that I can think of, that he might be aware of, but
Like your gut tells us no.
Lake Lizzie, probably not. Like, does he even remember what the name of Lake Lizzie is? Probably not. Is it okay if I look up past card rules again?
Yes.
Or house rules?
Was he into video games?
World of Warcraft, into tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer 40K, card games like Lorcana, which is a Disney card game. That's what he told me he was going to go do Monday. He was going to go look for Lorcana cards, and that's why he was going to go to House Rules Gaming. He was just going to make a few stops, and I said, why are you doing that? Why are you wasting time when we don't have money? Like, you don't have money to spend. He's like, oh, I'm just browsing. I just want to look. I want to see what they have available.
Isn't this funny too? Remember the first half of this, or maybe it was an audio interview. She says, I just let him do whatever. And they're like, what do you mean by that? She's like, if he wants to leave and go somewhere, I don't ask him, where are you going or what are you doing? And now here she's coming up with this whole scenario where that's exactly what she does. We don't have any money. Why are you going there? Why are you buying that? It's like, you don't know, like, that they're catching all these contradictions too, do you? I just don't understand. Maybe it's the meds. She can't even remember the stuff that she's told them.
That's all he said. Every time I did question him, he always had an answer.
Thank you, Netflix. I just let him do what he does.
Do you guys know, like, up until when on 182 you guys found him, see him? Like, how far down?
We just know it's St. Cloud.
So I keep thinking, like, house game rules on 182. Okay, it's got some secluded stuff in the background, or in the back of it. But it's still 182. It's still really busy. It's all really busy till you pass St. Cloud. I can't think of anything. I need to see my phone.
Thank you, Jay, and welcome to the new members.
So right now, I'm pretty sure you're still doing your phone. I think. How'd you get here? You're driven here?
I was driven here, but my dad followed behind. I think you guys said my car might be ready.
We'll verify that in a moment. The investigation is still going.
Yeah.
Right, Stefan also is not in charge of murder. Right, just a
He's
sexual
not, or
battery.
he is?
He has not been.
Oh, okay.
He's just been charged with sexual battery. I have a couple questions for you that are going to be on record. They're going to be official. I need you to answer truthfully. Because if they determine that you did answer not truthfully, you can be held accountable for it. Make sense? Raise your right hand. Do you swear that everything we talked about today in this interview is true and correct?
Yes.
Did you lie to me or the detective at any time?
No.
Okay. Do you currently know, or have you ever been aware of where his body has been since Monday?
No.
Did you have any?
No.
Were you aware at any time, whether it be the most recent instance or the first instance, victimization sexually by Stefan?
No.
Okay. At this time, you do not know where Stefan went on 192?
I don't.
You do not know where he went in Northport?
I do not.
And you have at no time this week in any conversations with Stefan where he disclosed what he did?
No.
Okay. The story that we talked about of what at one point we discussed that she could potentially have been in a trunk on the way to Northport.
Yeah.
Is that information you know to be true or an assumption?
An assumption.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us before we go check on the phone in the car? We may not be able to answer everything, but if you have questions, we can see if we can answer those questions. It's not your only opportunity. Your only opportunity phase was you saying you swear.
Yeah.
Good. And lastly, the only opportunity, you obviously have numerous detectives' phone numbers, you have numerous agencies' phone numbers, things like that. So realistically, there will be other options for you to ask questions.
I don't think I have questions right now.
Okay. I don't want you to think I was purposely an asshole to you.
No, I know. You're
Alright.
doing your job.
Like I told you, like the sheriff's probably reached out. You've been in communication with numerous people here. Those are my opinions and my opinions only. They don't reflect Sheriff Mina, the chief of PD, Kyle, any other detectives who talked to you. All right. I personally don't know. All right. We will be here all weekend. We will be here all night. My only hope is that you truthfully did not lie to us. You truthfully don't know where she was, and that you truthfully did not know what was happening to her.
Paused it for a second. A lot of piercing of the lips and hiding them. I remember just from other cases we've studied, from body language analysis, experts, all that, they think that that is a telltale sign that you're being deceptive, you know more, you're holding back. Yeah. You know, they're just like watching her like we are, like a fish in a fishbowl. Like, what's she doing? Right. She's got no questions. Not even asking, have you sent dogs out to any of the areas that I've already told you guys about or suspect? No questions. I like can't even tell her, are her eyes open or closed? I really think they're closed. Yeah, and she's also had her legs closed the entire time, like crossed. I'd like to know what all this means by body language experts in their opinion. I really think she's sleeping right now. Who could sleep at a time like this? They still have not found Madeline. She found out all this information that has infuriated us. I've seen some people in chat saying this case keeps them up at night. I can't even. And she's definitely sleeping. Yeah, at this moment she realized she was screwed. And yet still not arrested, Johnny. Yeah, I think she is. She's hoping that she can get some sleep. This sort of also reminds me of Chris Watts, where they had him left in there and he's like picking his earwax and eating it. They bring him in pizza. He eats like a whole pizza himself. And everyone's like, how can he do this? He just talked about, you know, what he had done. How can she do this after finding out everything? Yeah, she's replaying how suspicious she came off. She's like, oh, I guess I contradicted myself there too. Oh, and there. Oh, that didn't make any sense either. Oh, maybe they won't realize, or I can just blame my meds. Yeah, he picks his nose in one of his interviews too. It's like going like this, but like literally picks it. I think he looks at it. That's Watts. What is this like rubbing about too? You guys pointed that out yesterday. I know. They're like, never in my life have I seen anything like this woman. Maybe they have. That's why they're so good at it. I think so, Cindy, in the purple one. Wonder what she was thinking about as she was doing that. Are her eyes closed? This is as far as I can zoom, guys. She is fast asleep. Oh, wait.
So here's where we're at right now.
Okay. You cannot tell me that she didn't hear footsteps coming and decide, I'm going to start breaking down right now. The second they start opening the door, right before she starts crying, will she blow her nose? We have yet to see her blow her nose.
Your car is obviously able to be released to you, the Nissan. It requires us to do some paperwork because we did log it into our system. So now that it's in our system, we got to release it properly to you, which is no big deal. It'll take a couple minutes. Because of the high profile. All right, I know you said we can download your phone, and I do appreciate your cooperation with that. But because the same way we did with Stefan and every other phone and digital device we've seized, they're making us write a search warrant on it, which really doesn't affect you too much. The search warrant is a legal thing. It's not a you thing. It's not a trust thing. But with that, it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
All right, so I can release your car to you right now. We can go facilitate that downstairs. I cannot make you a promise that that phone will be downloaded by the time your car's ready. What I can promise you is at the moment it is downloaded, if you have left from here, I will bring it to you. You're staying with your sister still? Does anybody have your sister's phone number that we can make sure we can communicate with you on?
Yeah. My dad is downstairs, I think, waiting for me, so I can give you my dad's number since he'll be
Whatever
with me.
phone numbers we can
Suddenly, she goes from breaking down crying to talking normally again.
have just to make sure that
Yeah.
if we are unable to give you the phone back today,
Yeah.
I'll let you know that. That way, if we are unable to give you the phone back, we at least are able to contact you. And we want to make sure you have a phone to contact us if something arises. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure.
What's Dad's number? What's his name?
My dad's name is and if you can't get a hold of him, you can take my sister's number. She's
Obviously, this private information is redacted.
Are you going to be going back to your condo? Or are you going to go to...
I don't think I'm returning to my townhouse ever again. I want to. I want to be safe with my sister.
So what we'll do is we will walk you out this back parking lot. If the car is in the back corner, so I'll walk with you. We'll go through the back, so we don't go through the front lobby. It wasn't press conference today. Obviously, none of us got to see what was said. I assume it's just an update. But we will go through the back to go get the car, and that way we are not walking through the front lobby making you wait out there. I don't know if there's still media present. I assume you're not in the state or mood to go walk past 32 news cameras. So we will go out the back and get the car, and I'll show you how you can leave here, and we can call your dad from the back so you can know where to go or where to meet you. You just tell him, hey, she's gonna be in the back parking lot. You can drive around. You guys can follow each other out or whatever you choose to do that way. All right.
All right. Well, that is the end of it. This was our second review. If you guys missed our first half that we did this for 2 hours last night, I would recommend checking out the stream before this. Tomorrow night, we are doing our Thursday night Watts deep dive. I need a little bit of a break from this case anyways. And then Friday is still up in the air. It might be Gypsy. It might be Stephen Stern's father's interview. I have Stephen Stern's video interview as well. I'm going to need to edit it though, because it shows him completely stripped down, unredacted. So unfortunately, that won't be something that any of us want to see here. So I'm going to have to redact that before I'm able to pull that up and us break that down together. So that'll probably be Monday, Tuesday, maybe, depends on how long it is, etc. So thank you guys so much. Again, Alex Erickson and Teresa from Criminality have sent me these files through the Freedom of Information Act. We're all going to be given our insight and take on this. So definitely tune into those other channels as well. And we will be deep diving into the Wade Wilson case as well, starting with the trial and then mixing in like the phone calls, body cam, and his interrogation, kind of all mixed in and in addition to the trial, because I think that we could get a lot of facts from the case just by watching the trial. And I didn't watch it when it was on a couple months ago. So there was a vote and the majority said that they'd be interested in doing that. So I will see you guys tomorrow night around this same time. Okay, Purple One says, oh, I like Wade Wilson case. Okay, I need to kind of really dig deep because I only know the very surface level of it. But there's a lot of information out there. So again, guys, have a good night and I appreciate you guys and see you tomorrow.